The story of Ruth. Introduction: An unexpected journey. The book of Ruth is one of the most beautiful, heartfelt stories in the Bible. It's a short book, only 4 chapters, but it carries a deep and powerful message of God's providence, redemption, and the reward of faithful love. Written during a dark period of Israel's history, the time of the Judges, Ruth's story shines like a light in the darkness. While much of Israel had turned away from God, here we find individuals who remained loyal, compassionate, and faithful. Their ordinary choices, made in difficult circumstances, were woven by God into a plan that reached far beyond their lifetimes. In this study, we will walk carefully through the book of Ruth, chapter by chapter, uncovering the rich lessons hidden within. We will also explore how Ruth's story connects to the grand story of the Bible and to our own lives today. Chapter 1: Tragedy and Loyalty. Our story opens with a tragedy. A famine strikes the land of Judah. Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, leave their hometown of Bethlehem in search of food. They travel to the land of Moab, a foreign nation east of Israel. Moab was not a friendly neighbor to Israel. Historically, Moabites were descended from Lot's lineage through an incestuous relationship, Genesis 19 verses 30 to 38, and they had often been enemies of Israel. But the famine was severe enough that Elimelech decided survival was more important than staying in the promised land. While living in Moab, tragedy strikes again. Elimelech dies, leaving Naomi a widow. Her 2 sons marry Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth, but after about 10 years, Mahlon and Chilion also die. Naomi is left alone, in a foreign land, with no husband, no sons, and no grandchildren. In ancient times, this was a devastating situation. Widows without male protectors often faced poverty and social vulnerability. Hearing that the Lord had provided food for his people back in Judah, Naomi decides to return home. She urges her daughters-in-law to stay behind in Moab, where they might remarry and have a future. Orpah eventually agrees and tearfully says goodbye. But Ruth refuses to leave Naomi's side. Ruth's declaration is one of the most powerful moments in Scripture. "Where you go, I will go. And where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people. And your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely. If even death separates you and me." Ruth 1 verses 16 to 17, NIV. Ruth's loyalty was more than emotional attachment. It was a covenant of love, a binding promise. Ruth, a Moabite woman, chose to leave behind her homeland, her gods, and her future prospects to fully identify with Naomi and Naomi's God. When Naomi and Ruth arrive in Bethlehem, the town is stirred. But Naomi's heart is heavy. She says, "Don't call me Naomi, which means pleasant, call me Mara, which means bitter, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter." They arrive at the beginning of the barley harvest, a season of new beginnings. Chapter 2: God's Providence in the Fields. Ruth wastes no time seeking to provide for Naomi and herself. In ancient Israel, God's law allowed the poor to glean, to pick up leftover grain in the fields after the harvesters. This was part of God's system of caring for the vulnerable. See Leviticus 19 verses 9 to 10.